evening, Philippines. Welcome to General Assignment, now on its 6th season. On the show tonight is Colonel Francis Alaurin from the Office of Strategic Studies and Strategy Management of the Armed Forces of the Philippines. And back with us, retired Police Director Nick Pasinos. I'm your host, Miguel Gil. Following the SAF 44 tragedy, questions have been raised as to the ability of the Philippine government to protect us against internal threats. So the question is, are we safe? Do you feel safe? So our resource people tonight, our resource persons, Colonel Alaurin and General Pasinos, will share with us their points of view from from someone who is retired, no? They say that hindsight is always 20/20. And as for the colonel here, someone who is still very much in the service and still calling the shots as far as his office is concerned. Good evening, gentlemen, and welcome to the show.
Yes, good evening.
Good evening.
Okay. Seniority muna tayo. si General Pasinos. Dahil nagmula kayo sa Philippine Constabulary, so militar, yes. Pero eventually you retired PNP, no?
Yes.
So medyo meron kayong understanding dito sa pangyayaring ito. As a matter of fact, you were telling me that you were the provincial commander at one time of North Cotabato. Okay, and at one time the Regional Special Action Force was also under you, no? So anong analysis mo dito sa nangyari?
Well, the planning was not so thorough.
Mm-hmm.
When you plan, we used to say that we always plan for the worst. Kaya nga sa planning, there are assumptions.
Uh-huh.
The difference between O-plan and O-PORD, tatanggalin mo lang yung assumption.
Mm-hmm.
In the O-plan, there are assumptions. And when you assume for the worst.
Uh-huh.
And then you identify your friendly forces, identify your enemy forces.
Okay.
And yun nga, you plan for the worst case scenario. Ang tingin ko dun medyo, of course, hindsight na lahat ito, no? Because nangyari.
So sa tingin nyo, malaking pagkakamali na hindi nagkaroon ng maayos na coordination between the PNP and the AFP?
Yes,
yung basic
yes,
question.
Definitely.
Dahil kasi sa punto ngayon, medyo nagkakaroon ng turuan yung mga general. So alam natin yun.
You know.
Dahil nandyan medyo naging issue na. It's become an emotional issue, not only for you guys in the service, but if you will notice, si Juan de la Cruz, yung ordinary Filipino, is very emotionally invested in this thing, no? And that's a good thing also, dahil now we care for our men in uniform, and by extension also, there is that I don't know if you can call it hate or extreme disappointment for those who are trying to overthrow our system of government, no? Whether or not you like the president or not, whether you or not you think that he knows what he's doing or not, we have lost, di ba, Colonel?
Yes. It was really an unfortunate incident that happened, and I think it could have been mitigated or even eliminated had there been yung complete coordination. Dahil whenever we plan, all factors are always considered, especially those forces that are within your disposal, and how can you attain the strategic advantage over the adversary. Mm-hmm. So all the combat support, and combat service support, including all the friendly forces.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Mga kaibigan, baka may magsabi na hindi natin tinatantanan tong issue na to, no? Pero para lang for your information, the last time we discussed this issue, we received more than 400 texts from you, no? So mainit talaga ang ating mga kababayan tungkol sa issue na to, and we really want to get to the bottom of it, which is what this show is all about, no? So if you want to text us your questions, reactions, addressed to our two guests here, the number to text is 0915-209-6012. It's flashing on your screens. At least text us your first name and where you're from so we can gauge our reach. Pero bago natin balikan yung issue na yan, Colonel Alaurin, you are the Deputy Chief of the Office for Strategic Studies and Strategy Management, no? For Strategic Studies and Strategy Management. So kayo yung nag-iisip ng mga tactics, ng mga strategy in order to combat yung threats, no? Itong mga external and internal, no? Itong mga terrorists, itong mga rebels, itong mga bandits, tsaka yung mga ibang mga psychotic groups dyan, mga bloodthirsty groups. Pero let's not name names muna. Mamaya we will. So tell us something about your office. What do you do?
Yes. I think it's not yet too late to greet first the AFP leadership under General Gregorio Pio Katapang Jr. and up to the last element of the AFP. Good
He
evening
was
to
our
all of-
guest here about more than a year ago.
Okay. Now, what does my office do very best? Now, my office is an integration of two different offices. And the first one is yung strategic studies, which deals with the study more or less outward, dealing with our Asian neighbors in the Asia-Pacific region and in the world. And we are studying all security concerns that affect directly our country. And the other office is the strategy management, which deals with the AFP transformation roadmap. Now, these are two imperatives that we need to perform in my office. Yeah.
Okay. Para sa isang katulad ko na reporter, meron sinasabi na pag ikaw na kuryente o nagkamali ka sa facts mo sa pagsulat ng report, you will learn from that, whether mamura ka nung editor mo or your manager, no? So we learn from our mistakes, no? Meron ba kayong natutunan dito sa nangyari na ito sa 44 na talagang pinakamainit na issue? Of course, you cannot bring back to life people who have died, no? Pero the best way to honor them, I guess, is to learn something para hindi na maulit. Meron ba tayong napulot dyan na aral?
Yes. On the AFP side,
Yes.
first is we learned the lesson that the AFP and the PNP remains to be brothers connected by an invisible umbilical cord. Although the PNP had been separated from the AFP, but we remain to be government forces whose chances of winning in combat operations are better assured if we work together. And ganun pa rin, yung PNP is never, we feel that the PNP has never been separated from us. Now, on the other hand, externally, as we deal with the Moro Islamic Liberation Front, it is a lesson wherein it boils down into a complete control of leadership on their line units. I think that it took so many years to keep this peace talks on shape, and it has achieved a lot of milestone. And in fact, we have even reached to the point of we go into budol fight. Magkasama-sama kami na gumagawa ng mga mosques, public market. So I think we've invested so much that I think both our sides will have to give a lot of premium to what we have started.
Pero hindi ba kayo sobrang disappointed at parang this is a betrayal of trust, di ba? Dahil obviously hindi lang naman yung BIFF na may mga nagsasabi alter ego lang din ng MILF pares na dati, no? So, do you feel betrayed? At yung tiwala ba na yun pwede bang mabuhay ulit yun sa kanilang mga parali-rally ng mga mga nakabisikleta pa raw na for peace, pero ito actual experience. Nakita natin sa mga YouTube videos kung paano nila binibigyan ng coup de grace yung mga sugat ng mga alagad ng batas, no?
Yeah, I believe it's at 100% betrayal. I believe that these are just temporary obstacles to the peace talks. And what is important is we learn our lessons and we keep those lessons by the heart, and so that we will be able to push through with the peace talks once and for all, and we will give the BBL to life.
General, nasabi mo sa akin kanina na dati naranasan nyo na rin itong peace process na to at kahit na papaano nung niluluto, binubuo yung peace talks which led to the formation of the Autonomous Region of Muslim Mindanao, yung ARMM. Nandun kayo, active PNP officer kayo dun sa lugar na yon. So ano ba ang insight na ma-share nyo sa ating dun sa mga pumalit sa inyo ngayon? Dapat ba pagkatiwalaan talaga o useless?
First, the situation now and then is almost similar, no? In 1992, when the peace talk was ongoing with the MNLF, slowly, meron ding breakaway, that was the MILF at that time. And, of course, there was autonomy with the MNLF as the first leaders of the transition government for the ARMM.
Pero ang naging resulta nun, mukhang nalustay lang daw yung pondo ng ARMM. Ngayon, what's the use na palawigin itong and give them more power? Hindi kaya may kasabihan sa English, you fool me once, shame on you. You fool me twice, shame on me. Diba?
I still believe na wala naman sistemang perfect Kahit pa okay yung sistema, kung yung mga tao nagpapatakbo, wala din, mapupunta din sa wala. So, tama naman yung sinasabi na kailangan dito tiwala. Only that, yung BBL ngayon, and I have to go to the BBL immediately, no? May mga provisions, yung the draft BBL, there are provisions that, to me personally, are not yet acceptable.
Katulad ng?
Yung marami doon yung provisions ng, they have their own police, they have their own COMELEC, COA, civil service. I think something has to be done with those provisions, ano?
So pag meron kang sariling, kahit na sabihin mong police, which is civilian in nature, pero knowing the culture, knowing how things are done there, kung armado rin doon, naka-uniforme rin, taking over the place. So effectively, you form another armed forces within their jurisdiction.
Yes, because I understand it's only autonomy, not independence.
So gusto nilang gawing sub-state within the country.
That's it. That when you come up with a sub-state, para mo sinabing independent.
Ako naman, personally, I believe in making our Muslim brothers and sisters happy. Pero you have to do the math. I mean, we are now 100 million plus. And I understand only 4 or 5% are Muslim. And even Mindanao is predominantly Christian. So how do you reconcile and how do you keep the situation from boiling over? Anyway, lahat yan sasagutin natin